And we are back on BuildPhase TV, and the first thing I want to do today is say thank you to all my patrons. I really appreciate the help keeping the lights on around here. If you like what we do, patreon.com/BuildPhase. All right, so today we have the second set of card reveals from the Spiderverse expansion. This is going to be out sometime soon. I think it says in the article. I think they said the 24th last time, but I'm sure that information will be in the article once we click through. I can see here, Cloak and Dagger. Okay. We've seen a lot of copies of Cloak and Dagger. We've also seen a lot of copies of Spider-Man, and yet here we are in a Spider-Man-centric arc. Now, I am sensitive to the people whose favorite characters or obscure characters they're fond of have not made it yet into the game of Versus. And seeing yet another copy of Cloak and Dagger, particularly since we just got a Cloak and Dagger in the Civil War arc, I kind of get the character fatigue argument. But Cloak and Dagger were a big part of the Maximum Carnage storyline, so I'm not surprised to see them show up in this arc. Welcome back. Oh, first thing I want to do, 24th, yeah. Whoa, main characters? Come on. Okay, so this is part of the symbiote arc. Lethal Protector, Maximum Carnage. They're introducing the symbiote team. AKA is a thing, so let's blah, blah, blah past all of that. In order to combat the symbiote threat, Spider-Man had to call on some old Civil War buddies. Okay, Civil War happened after Maximum Carnage. No. Just because you released the sets in the wrong order, Danny and Ben, doesn't mean you get to refer to them as Civil War buddies. Come on. Strong disapprove of that pun. Okay, so Cloak is a Spider-Friend affiliated. Oh, I love this artwork. Oh man, it's like a stacker. And this happens to be, because I knew this was a Cloak and Dagger reveal, even though I didn't look at the cards. This happens to be the exact panel of artwork that I grabbed to use as my cover image for the beginning of this. Wow. So trying something new today. I actually added a element here where we can see some of the chat. Appreciate you, John. Let's dive right in. Okay, so Cloak is a 2/5/4 Spider-Friends affiliated. I'm going to guess Cloak and Dagger means you start the game with Dagger as well. You start the game with an additional main character named Dagger. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Dark Force Generation. At the start of your turn, put a -1 counter on a character. What's up, Banana? Combined forces. When Dark Force or Light Force is generated, Cloak gains an XP. My guess is going to be that Dark Force generation is Light Force is going to do the opposite. Let's see here real fast. Cloak, yes, put a +1. So every turn when you start the game with these two guys face up, well, these two people face up, you're going to be creating a value spread on the board of 2/2. You're going to get a -1 and you're going to get a +1. Now, are they limited to supporting characters? No, they're not. So you can shrink a main character and you can buff one of your guys. Now, it is a pittance. It is literally the only way you could buff a character for less is if it was like +1/+0. So this is like rock bottom minimum level of buff and negging characters. But it's consistent. It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to do it every turn of the game. I do not like this 4 health. I do not like this 2/5 stat line. Dagger is 4/3 with 4 health and range. Not super fond of that either, to be honest. These stats are super weak, but what you're going to do is you're going to be putting -1 counters on whatever the opposing characters or the opposing player's biggest threat is to shrink them down, and you're going to be using these +1s to buff up. Now, one thing I will say that I don't like, I can already tell that the way you want to play these guys is put Cloak up front, put Dagger in the back, and their stacker stacks side by side. XP on turn 1, you start the game. Yeah, I agree. Getting XP right away. And how many do they need? They need 5. So starting on turn 1, assuming I go first, so you haven't had a chance to do anything to me at all. I go first. I get 1 XP at the start of the game for each of these things going off. Turn 2, let's say both my guys are face up again, so I'll level up on turn 3 with both of them. Now, if either Cloak or Dagger are face down, they're not going to level up as quick because you're getting this at the start of turn. So, and if they're not face up at the start of turn, you're not going to generate the counter. So it's kind of a double whammy. If you're face down at the start of your turn, you are both losing out on experience and you're losing out on these minor buff and negative counter power, this board interaction, which I think you really need. If your main character is a 2/5/4 and a 4/3/4. Now 4 plus 4 is 8, and 8 is a lot of hit points to deal with, but this is not a lot of hit points that's attached to a character that's very durable. Light and Dark Force generation does not say may, so you must put the counter on a character in play. Good. I kind of prefer that. There's something I really don't like about really important triggers that are may triggers, and then like, oh well, you didn't do that at the time you were supposed to do it. Like, the number of times I've seen people forget to pay the green with Luke Cage until after combat has resolved and then not heal the wound. Like, I get it. We should all play tight. We shouldn't play sloppy. But that feels a little cheap. You know, a little bit of gimme. I like that this isn't on a May counter, especially because it's clearly the most important thing that these characters are going to be doing. Violent. While attacking supporting characters, Cloak doubles his attack. And improved Dark Force generation. At the start of your turn, put a -1 counter on a character. Oh, at the start and end. Okay, so this will start to do -2 every turn, and I assume this is going to start to do +2 every turn at the start and end of the turn. So they end up with a swing of 2 stat points at the start of the turn, 2 stat points at the end of the turn. That feels pretty good, but again, how are you guaranteeing these people are face up every single turn? That seems really tough. Acrobatic, while in combat, Dagger gets struck as though she had double her defense. Is that how that's worded on Beast? Doesn't Beast have that? Oh, there's a double up card. Oh, I love this art too. So the art they chose for these characters just happens to be the exact pieces of art I chose for my overlay elements for this. So acrobatic, this keyword's wording has been updated to make clear how it works. It does not change its functionality. This change applies to all previous cards with acrobatic. Okay, sure. So they changed the word from the way the Defender's Beast works slightly. I'd have to go back and look at that card to see exactly what the difference is, but this is how it works now. Fine. They did that with lethal too. I think there's a few other keywords that they've had to they didn't get quite right the first time. I have no problem with that. In fact, I kind of prefer this to update cards when the powers show up again. So, okay, partnership. Now, I'm a huge fan of this type of card where it's like 2 characters in one. Fitzsimmons is one of my all-time favorite versus cards. What does Cloak and Dagger do? Cloak and Dagger is a 5-cost, flight range 5/5/2. This supporting character counts as both Cloak and a character named Dagger for the purposes of uniqueness and power-ups. Ooh. So I imagine if you discard this to power up Dagger, you can't also discard it at the same time to power up Cloak. It doesn't count as discarding 2 cards. You have to pick one or the other, but you have the flexibility of doing either one. And it has both Dark Force and Light Force generation. Unfortunately, these are not the improved versions of Dark and Light Force generation. So you have to play this character out, and it has to stay face up through your opponent's turn, and then you can get this effect. And 5/5 for 5 is not crazy good stats on turn 5. 5 defense. This might not be good. Hey, what's up, Whit? You want to come look at these Cloak and Dagger cards?
Sure.
All right, sit down. We're live.
Is this live?
We are live, yes.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Then everyone heard what I said. I'm not in the frame. I'm
Here,
not in
come
the
over
frame.
here. You can say it. All right, here we go. So Cloak and Dagger, this is a 5-cost, 5/5 with flight and range and 2 health. And they have Dark and Light Force generation. Dark Force generation, at the start of your turn, you put a -1 counter on a character.
I'm guessing Light Force, you get to put a +1 on yourself?
On a character. And these are not maze. So if my whole board is completely stunned out, and it's the start of your turn, and you have Dark Force generation, you're going to have to put a -1 counter on one of your characters.
That sucks.
So there's, I mean, that's, if the worst thing that, if the board state, we're playing each other, and you have my entire board completely wiped, and the worst thing that happens is you have to put a -1 counter on one of your, like, you're kind of winning already, right?
Well, the thing is, if your whole board is thumbed out, how it could have been like or it could be singularity. Can't singularity. So it could be that they're winning, and then they force you to start losing through singularity.
Well, then they'd put the -1 on singularity. Because if singularity was face down, then all the characters would come back, right?
Yeah, but not what a 1 -1 counter isn't gonna stop singularity. I'm pretty sure they.
The other thing about this is the partnership keyword means this character counts as both cloak and dagger.
Ooh, so you can power up with both of them.
Exactly. For
like
uniqueness
that.
and power ups. So that's the supporting character.
I don't like the fact that it makes so I can't play any of the other cloak and daggers, but the fact that I can level up. Actually, I want to see those mains.
Do you see these mains here? Notice how the art goes together?
And also notice how I'm pretty sure this was the art from the supporting character that we got recently.
Here, let me show. No, it's
What?
this is art from the Maximum Carnage storyline. In fact, I chose that exact panel of art as our cover.
Ha!
So look at that. Oh no, wait, that's not the same cloak, is it?
No.
He looks a little bit different. Oh man, so they're not actually stackers. Don't they look like they stack?
Yeah, but that's a different cloak. His face expression is different, and the way that his hand is placed is different.
Well, one of the criticisms I said is that this looks like cloak wants to be in front and dagger wants to be in back, which means they aren't stacked. But I guess I have to take that criticism back.
Yeah.
All right, so when you start the game, you have both cloak and dagger, right? So you start the game with a flyer that's 2/5/4 and a ranger with 4/3/4, okay? And cloak has dark force generation and dagger has light force generation.
And
so at the start of your turn, and every time one or the other power goes off, they gain 1 XP.
Just a question. Okay. Wait a second. Additional. Okay, so these are like I'm drawing a blank on the team affiliation, but aren't they like called the Bark Twin Brothers, right?
Oh yeah, they're kind of like the Bark Bros. Yeah, totally. Very similar to the Bark Bros, actually.
Yeah, because they both have 4 health as well.
I mean, not in the way that they're gonna play. I think these guys are going to have to be a little bit more scrappy than the Bark Bros were.
Of course, but you know what I'm saying. They have the same mechanic of they're both main
So
characters.
if you have these both characters face up at the start of your turn 3 times, you level up. They'll both level up. But if either one of them's face down, then that one doesn't get XP and they're going to be a little bit slower. Once they level up, he becomes a 4/7, and the Dark Force generation happens at the start and at the end of your turn.
So it's improved. I mean,
and she becomes a 7/4.
Who has the exact same thing except opposite.
So what do you think of these main characters? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I kind of like them, but I have a feeling that they're going to easily die because they even have 4 health. Like, all you have to do is pick off the one that gives +1s on their board. And
yeah, if you pick off either one of these,
then the whole
it
thing
starts
falls.
to look ugly. Like real quick.
Actually, now that I think about it, pick off Cloak because he has such high defense, and now their defense sucks, and they just get killed so easily.
Well, and even if you've got Dagger tucked in the back row, we've got things like the Spider Carnage, Black Widow.
The ability that brings the back row character to the front, except I can't
that's
remember.
Spider Carnage.
Okay, Spider Carnage.
So there's more ways in, like, particularly in the second chance format.
Wait, there's another
There's ways to get to the back row. Like, I don't know that you're going to be keeping Dagger hidden back there. And at 3 defense, there's 1 drops that can stun her. Unfortunately. I do not think these are going to be tournament competitive. So I give them thumbs down in terms of power level, but I give them thumbs up in terms of flavor. I love the flavor of these. I think they're going to be a lot of fun for like me and you to mess around with at the kitchen table.
I was about to say they're going to be awesome in kitchen table format.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to be some really fun characters who suck in tournaments.
All right, how about the sporting character? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs medium.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, I guess it's in between thumbs up and thumbs medium, but like mostly thumbs up for me.
So my prediction is this card only sees play if these are your main characters. You run this card as a way to put a little bit of extra power up juice in your deck to deal with the fact that the stats on both Cloak and Dagger main characters kind of suck.
And also another thing that makes that good, and you're doing it for power-ups, is the fact of this. So you get to decide which one. Because it's not Cloak or Dagger. I mean, it's Cloak and Dagger.
If I have to play a Spider Friends 5-drop, I don't know anything else about my deck. It just has to be Spider Friends and it has to cost 5. I'm running Spider-Man 2099.
Of course. And then my 12-drop is...
There may be specific decks that are trying to deal with counters
Not this
But
could
again,
be good
before
against.
you get any value out of this 5 defense, 5 drop has to survive for a turn. I just see that being really hard to do.
Yeah.
And if you've got the kind of deck where you've got kind of an ironclad front row and you can throw something in the back row and keep it protected, is this the 5 drop you want to throw into your back row and keep protected?
No.
I mean, how dependent are you on +1 and -1 counters?
Yeah. No, I'm not going that.
Yeah, so overall, I'm afraid I got to give the supporting character 2 thumbs up on flavor, but I think I got to give him a thumbs down on playability, I'm afraid. Man, I don't like that.
Thumbs up and splash
I can't think of cards where I've been this excited about both the card art, the flavor, the theme, everything.
And then they suck.
But the power level, it's just these strike me like they're going to be really anemic. I just don't know that they're going to be able to get there.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Bummer.
But do you see how it says some old Civil War in the area that it's like not quite. So if you didn't have it, it'd be old war buddies.
Yeah, except I called this out when I was reading it initially. Civil War happened after Maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
So there's no way Spider-Man called up people he fought with in Civil War during the Maximum Carnage storyline because it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And that makes it so that they would be future Civil War buddies.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
They're the future Civil War buddies.
All right, so that's pretty much it for this card reveal. Till next time, go win some games.